What up, guys? Jason Guyman here, and tonight we're going to talk about can you get to six figures, $100,000 with your Christmas light business, and I'll talk about whatever else. But this is what I want to hit on of how you can grow your Christmas light business to do over $100,000. And yes, you can do it in your first year. Now, is everybody going to do it? Probably not. If there is, have I had several people do it? Absolutely have. I've had people do my online course and get to $100,000. I've had people take my in-person courses and get to $100,000. I've had people watch all my YouTubes because I give you a lot of information on my YouTube channel, and they've done $100,000 from all the free information that I have given you. And so there is ways that you can do that. And tonight I am going to talk on how we can do that. So this week has been an awesome week. I've been fat. And so you know I like to be real with you all. And so last year I started my journey of losing weight, and I started at 319 pounds. I didn't want to hit 320 pounds, and I got down to 250, and then from 250 I went to I was doing 75 hard. I didn't make it through 75 hard, and I struggled from there, and I've kind of gained my weight back up. And so today I weighed myself, and I'm at 284. And so today I'm going to make the day. Actually, I made a post on my social media post, and Josh was on there, and we're going to start tomorrow of 75 hard again. So if you want to join and want to be held accountable, then I would more than likely just send me a message, and I'll either put us on some way of keeping ways to be able to stay ahead of helping you guys not just grow your business, but also keep you in health. Because if you don't have good health, it don't do you a whole lot of good to have a whole lot of money in a business, because this business is very stressful. It's not easy. And so again, it's not easy. It's stressful. And you can do $100,000 your first year in Christmas light business, and it is very stressful. Again, I don't know if I've said it enough, but it's not easy, but it can be done. And I know a lot of people done it. I know old people do it. I know 20-year-olds that are doing it. And so that is the cool thing about how you can grow your business. So the book of the week, I always like the book of the week, because the more you educate yourself. How does 75 hard work? Well, it's 75 hard. So it's 75 days long. And you have to do some type of diet. It doesn't matter what type of diet it is. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to do 2 45-minute exercises. One of them has to be outside. You're not allowed to drink any alcohol. And if you fail, and you have to take a picture of yourself every day. So those are the 5 things you have to do. Let's see, take a picture. Be on a diet. Doesn't matter what it is. You just got to be on something. And then 2 exercises a day. One of them has to be outside, and drink a gallon of water. So those are the 5 things you have to do to be able to say you've completed 75 hard. If you want to find out more about it, Andy Francisco, or however you say his last name, he has a podcast on it. You can look it up, 75 Hard Podcast, and it's like episode 201 or something. I don't know what it is. But that's the episode that he kind of talks about it. That's it too. Thank you. Yeah. You got to read 10 pages too. Read 10 pages in a book also. So that's the other thing that you got to do too. So I forgot. So the book that I am going to read out of is actually going to be Buy Back Your Time. If you have not read this book, I highly recommend you read this book. This is a book that you should read, and not just listen to it and be like, yep, that's a damn good book. But each chapter, make sure you're doing the things that you're supposed to do in it. That is the important part. So after each chapter, you got to make sure you do the thing. So after chapter 2, actually, I've got, and in our mentorship, I know I got the membership, but in my mentorship, we're going through this book chapter by chapter and doing the things. So we're on chapter 2 right now, and it's about buy back your time rate. How much does it cost you to buy back your time? Episode 208. So I wasn't too far off when I said 200 or 201. That's actually kind of funny. So that is definitely something that you haven't read this book, Michael Hindeliner. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you have not read this book. This book you definitely need to read. It is a great book. You probably already do a lot of it, but I'm sure you will learn something. It's probably one of the books right up there with E-Myth. E-Myth and Think and Grow Rich. Those are the 3 books, and this is right up there with those 3 books. So that's how important I do believe that one is. And so that, how many managers and employees would you be optimal? I'm planning on running 2 crews. Well, 2 crews, you probably don't need a whole lot. You need 2 per person, 2 per thing there. So that is what I'm going to hit on tonight. That's what I want to talk about growing your business, about doing Christmas lights and getting to $100,000 in 1 year. And yes, you can do it. Normally when I tell people, I used to tell people that if you went to my in-person classes, I could about guarantee you to do 30,000 to 50,000, but I've had a lot of successful people hit the $100,000 their very first year. I know I talk about Daniel. He did 179,000 his first year. Sam Else did $250,000 his first year. So it can definitely be possible. And so that's what is awesome about a Christmas light business. So before we get going here, I always like to go through it here. It's the time of year to get your head in the game of Christmas lights, and it's exactly the time of it. You know, and a lot of times people ask me, is it too early? And I say it's, you know, the biggest thing about Christmas lights now is you know, getting the things that you need to do, of getting your Google My Business set up and getting all of your stuff set up. So that way when it's go time, you're not like, well, I need to do this or I need to do that. And so that's exactly why we want to do it. I've decided getting into it this year for sure. Awesome. I just answered that. Get it, Jason. I'm sure we'll meet your goal. I'm losing those numbers. Awesome. Make sure you give me thumbs up for the yahoos that just gave me a thumbs down. I don't know. It might have been an accident, but I like to give people a hard time. Jeremy Maine needs to give you a loving shoe to keep you accountable. You're right. He's actually in my mentorship, and he was actually saying I'm falling behind myself. So I actually got to give him a kick in the butt too. What's up, Mr. Sean? Hoping that everyone is doing great. He got snow last week, so that makes business hard. You got to read 10 pages. 208. Howdy, how many managers? I already hit on that one. Never done Christmas lights, but here they're very profitable if you do it correctly. Quite a few retired people down here in the Gulf Shore areas. Yep, there is definitely money down there in the old Gulf Shore areas. All right, so let's get this show on the road. So I'm going to start this. This here is brought to you by ChristmasLights.io. If you need any Christmas light trainings or if you need any Christmas lights, you can go to ChristmasLights.io or ChristmasLights.lights or .io/L or lights, and you can find the Christmas lights. That's where you can find permanent lighting. You can find all kinds of awesome things here for Christmas lights. And so one other thing before I get started here too is I think I put it up here. Did I put it up here? Maybe not. Maybe I didn't put it up here. All right, I was going to give you a phone number that if you want to know when I go live, I can send you a phone number, but I'm not seeing it up here. I must have, that's the screen for it, but I don't know where it's at. I'll see if I find it. But, all right, so let's talk about one other thing, too, before I go on here. If you are doing $50,000 to $100,000 and you want to grow your business to $50,000 to $500,000 to $100,000, Go to christmaslights.io/A for advance. That there, if you are willing to spend $2,000 to make $20,000, who in here wouldn't be willing to spend $2,000 to make $20,000? That is definitely going to be the place that you're going to be able to get around people that can speak into your life, and you can grow your business. So with that, let's get this boat show on the road. How do we get to $100,000 in Christmas lights our very first year? So the very first thing you need to do is go buy $20,000 worth of Christmas lights at christmaslights.io, and that is not what you need to do. I'm just joking on that point of that. And so that is not what you need to do. If you do, then, and if someone tells you that, I am going to tell you to quit listening to that person, because that person does not know what they're doing. So if you want to be able to hit $100,000, or maybe you want to hit $250,000, maybe you want to hit $500,000, one thing that you need to start working on is how are you going to get customers? And so that is an important key of what we need to do to get customers. So if you are going to want to make $100,000, you are going to need to spend about $10,000 in marketing alone. And so that is 10% of that. Now, have I seen people make $100,000 and not spend $10,000? Absolutely 100%. But it will help you to get to the point of making the $100,000. So the first thing you need to do is get your LLC. And so that way you don't get in trouble. If you do something stupid, it's going to help you keep you from doing something stupid. Next thing is you need to make sure that you have insurance. If you already have a business, a lot of times you can get the insurance that will go on top of your already insurance, and it's usually not that expensive. If it is the insurance that you need to get brand new, you will have to try to find places that will go to your local insurance agencies and work with them and see if they can get you your insurance. And the good thing about working with local agency is one, a lot of times those are people that may need Christmas lights or know people that do need Christmas lights. So that's a good reason why to work with people that are local versus going on the online and finding people that way. So after we find our insurance, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to see how do we get the phone to ring. So one way to get the phone to ring is you ring their phone. And you're going to say, what do you mean I'm going to ring their phone? Well, like last week, I was talking with Mr. Daniel, and he's calling 20 to 30 people every day. One day he's calling all churches. The next day he's calling hotels. The next day he's calling churches and auto dealerships and all kinds of crazy things like that. And that is a way that you can start making money now while we're in the off season, because right now a lot of people aren't thinking about Christmas lights. They're not even thinking about it. And so that is a way that if you are already here or you're wanting to grow, that is a way that you can get business before it even starts. So once we do that, a lot of times, if it's your very first year, you're probably you're going to get discouraged. And here's why but don't get discouraged. I'm going to tell you why you're going to get discouraged, but don't get discouraged. You're going to go join my Christmas light group, which is christmaslight.io/group. And you're going to see people in there start commenting about that they're closing $5,000 jobs. I just closed a $2,000 job. I just closed a $1,500 job. It's September and I'm already putting up lights. It's the 1st of October and I'm already putting up lights. And you're going to be like, I haven't even gotten a phone call yet. Right. And so, or you're going to go and you're going to bid, you're going to put out the yard signs I'm going to tell you to do. And you're going to put out not just 10 yard signs and say, well, Jason, yard signs don't work. I never got a phone call off of it. You're going to put out hundreds of yard signs. You know, I was talking with Sam Else, and he put out over 4,000 yard signs in a 2-month span. That is 4,000 yard signs. Now, he did $600,000 in year 2. He didn't do $600,000 by not doing nothing. He put out 4,000 yard signs. So think about that. 4,000 yard signs at $3 a pop, even if you can get them that cheap. At $3 a pop, he spent over $12,000 in yard signs alone. I know that's some mind-blowing stuff, but that's a way that he was able to get. That was his number one lead gen, and his highest tickets were yard signs. Because I know some of you in here will be like, all that does is pull those trashy people as those yard signs. And you just keep believing that because that's what you think, and that's what you're going to keep believing. And so that is not what I want you to think. I want you to think that you can do $100,000. And so if you're going to do it, yard signs is one way. You can do Facebook ads. You can do the Facebook groups. But however we got to do it, we got to figure out how to get the phone to ring. If we can't get the phone to ring, it doesn't matter what we do. We're not going to get business. And so the very first thing is we got to get the phone ring. After we get the phone ring, we're not going to give everybody a quote. If you think you're going to give everybody a quote, you're wasting your time on dead people, basically, because what you need to do is pre-qualify these people. Because when people call you, whether it's off a Facebook ad, whether it's off of a yard sign, whether it's off of Google, some of these people think that you're going to come make their house look like this for $200, and they believe that this costs $200 right here. I just want to let you know this doesn't cost $200. This is more like $2,500 or $3,000. And so the very first thing on our phone calls is we have to remember that you have to pre-qualify your people. You have to let them know that, hey, just so you know, our starting prices are at $1,000. And you're going to shut up, right? Because whenever you speak money, and whoever talks next loses. Because if you be like, you lost. So you're going to shut up and let them do it. Because it's going to do one of two things. It's going to be really quick of, you're nuts, you're crazy, and slam the phone down on you. Or it's going to be number two, it's going to go quiet, and you're going to be like, did they hang up? Hello? And then they're going to say, okay, that sounds good. And those are the customers that we're going to give quotes for, because we pre-qualified them. We got rid of the under $1,000 people, and those are the people that we want. And so as you do this, this is what you have to do to be able to be successful. Now, I get it. A lot of people, and someone posted in the group the other day, asked, well, why can't I hang their lights? And the answer is no. If they already have lights, they're not your customer 9 times out of 10. There is sometimes that they will become your customer because the other guy never took them down. But most of the time, that is not your customer. So after we get our yard signs going, and I would probably, if this is your first year and you're wanting to do $100,000, I would be willing to put out 100 or 200 yard signs, or I would probably be willing to put out 50 yard signs in August. I'd probably be willing to put out about 100 to 200 in September. October, I would probably be 100 to 200. And then November itself, I would put out 200. So, I'm talking about 500-600 yard signs, but this is how you're going to get to $100,000. If you only put, I have people, there was a guy out of Colorado, he put out 25 yard signs. It kept him busy. He did $125,000 his very first year. So it can be done of just putting out a few yard signs, your phone blows up and you don't have to do no more. But most of the time, that's only certain people that's happened to. Most of the time, you actually have to go out there and do it. Now, once we get the quotes, once the phone starts ringing, the next thing is you need to have a good phone script. Again, when we are selling Christmas lights, it's not about selling the LEDs and the bulbs at the peak and other crap that people want to talk about. That's why I like a female on the phone, because they don't have a clue about any of that stuff. Because when you're talking to them on the phone, it's about bringing the magic out. And so whether you're going to go in person or online, most people I know to do Christmas lights do it online that are successful. That they will ask them, what is their special occasion? Is the grandkid coming over for the first time? Is it your wife's last Christmas because she's got cancer, right? And so when we know what this is, the reason why they're wanting to have Christmas lights, this is a way that we are able to get higher tickets. And so some of you can say I'm sleazy or whatever, but when you sell the bulb, you will only get $5 to $6 a foot. You're not being profitable. You're barely getting by. And that's the reason why I don't teach that. You know, the reason why I teach $8 to $12 a foot is because I want you to be successful. And you can't be successful at the $4 to $6 a foot 9 times out of 10. And so that is why I want you to be successful at the $8 to $12 a foot. And I've heard people tell me that I'm crazy, but you know what? The ones that start this business and they'll say, I'm going to start low and then I'll go up. They'll never go up because they don't believe that they're worth $8 to $12. If you don't believe that you're worth $8 to $12 a foot for Christmas lights, neither will your customers. If you're not excited to sell I mean, when you know, I've heard the phone and it's sad. Some of you are like, hello, you got to be excited. And hey, this is Jason, Santa's helper with ChristmasLights.io. How can I help you today? What do you want to make beautiful today? Right? We got to have excitement. We got to be joyful. We got to be over the top. And when you're over the top, you'll find out that people will buy from you. And it's amazing how that works. But if you're just like, boo, you know, if you're just the old, I don't even know what to say, how to say it politely or whatever it is, but it is all about how you talk on the phone is what's going to make you be able to get that higher ticket or not. And so once you do this, this is how you're able to do it. Now, you will say, well, Jason, when do I buy my Christmas lights? Well, when you buy your Christmas lights is once you start selling jobs. I don't care if you don't buy your Christmas lights right out of the get-go. Yes, do I want you to buy $100,000 worth of Christmas lights from ChristmasLights.io? Sure I do. But I also understand that if you can't get jobs, you can't buy it. So that is the problem of why we don't want to that's why I want you to go do marketing first versus go out there and buy a bunch of bulbs and all that kind of crap. But you can do $100,000 your first year. I've got people that have never hit $100,000. And a lot of it I say is they don't believe in themselves and they don't get out there and kick the can and make sure things happen, right? If I look at your phone and I see you got a bunch of missed calls, that tells me you're not answering your phone. And then you wonder why you're not busy. Well, you might tell me, well, them are spam calls. I will about guarantee you not all of those are spam calls. So that's why you got to answer your phone, because when you answer your phone, that's a way that's going to happen. And yes, there's going to be spam calls, but just because it's an out of town number doesn't mean it's a spam call. When you're in business, you got to answer the phone every time, no matter what. And that's the thing that you have to do over and over and over. So back to the steps. 1, do marketing. However we got to do to answer the phone, we got to get the phone to ring. Next, we got to answer the phone. Next, we got to figure out how to get these quotes out quickly. Because when you're first starting out, getting these quotes out quickly is really hard. I'm not going to lie. It's tough. It can be really tough. I like holiday home concepts. They work really well with getting stuff done, looks nice. And it'll tell you how big the house is. So it does 2 things in one go when you're making a house look very nice. So that's one thing that I would tell you to do. The other thing I would tell you to do is after you get the concepts up there, is how do you start scheduling them? And so when you're first starting, usually you just got to schedule them. Now, if you're year 2, year 3, and you got a whole bunch to get up, then we need to schedule them in areas, right? We're in this subdivision, we're in this subdivision. Because I'll tell you what happens when you don't. You'll be up there today, and then tomorrow you're up there at the neighbor's house. And then the next day you're at the next neighbor's house. Where if you would have did all 3 of them at one time, you would have got them all done and you would have been finished, and you're not driving around driving time. And so those are the things that you got to do to be able to hit $100,000 in 1 year. It can be done. I've seen it over and over. I've personally helped probably 100 people make $100,000 out of their first year. And so that's me personally, what between my in-person classes, my online training, and my videos that I put out on YouTube. Between those three things, I've seen personally 100 different people make $100,000 their first year. And so that is the goal for you to be able to do it. One, you got to believe in yourself. Write it down. Because if you don't believe you can get $100,000, you won't ever hit it. You know, Daniel, when he started last year, his goal was $70,000. And then he raised it to 100. And then he raised it to 150. And then he raised it to 175. Versus shooting for the moon in the beginning, reverse engineer it, and make it happen. And so this year, he's already over $400,000 in his Christmas light business. He's closed almost 90% of everybody last year, plus he's added on to it. So he's at $400,000 at year 2. Now, at year 1 at $175,000, he didn't have a crew of 10 people. He had himself and he had one other helper most of the time. And so between those two people, he did $179,000. So you can't tell me it can't be done. Does he have $4 and $6 a foot people in his area? Absolutely, he does. Does he have people that are charging $10 and $12 a foot, $14 a foot? Absolutely, he does. So if you believe that if you call your one or two competitors and they're charging $4 to $6 a foot, you need to make sure you're calling the right competitor that's charging the $12 a foot. Because the $4 and $6 a foot, I'm just going to be real honest with you, they're going out of business. They can't sustain that because they're going to have so much overhead that it's not going to be worth them. You know, would you rather go out in a day and make $2,500 a day, or would you rather go out in a day and do $10,000 a day? I personally would much rather go out and do a $10,000 job than or a $2,000 job than a $600 job. I'll take the $2,000 jobs all day long, because I'll tell you something about the $2,000 jobs. They're going to complain less than the $500 an hour or the $500 Christmas light job. The $500 Christmas light job, they're going to complain about every little thing that you didn't do. The $2,000 Christmas light job, they're not going to. One, you can take your time and do a little bit better job because you're not trying to rush to make any money. And two, they're just not going to complain as much. You know, the reason why I post this picture is because this is over a $2,000 job and there ain't a light on the peak. And it's back to, you ain't got to put it, you know, I know these people are, oh, you're not a professional Christmas light installer if you're not in the peak. And so you get into these groups and you're going to hear it over and over and over. You're not a professional Christmas light installer if it's not on the peak. Well, you know what? You're not making no money. Most of you all aren't. So that's what I would tell most of those guys. Is there some of them in there? Sure there is. But the majority of them that are being like, you're not a professional, they ain't making no money. You know, here's the thing. You can be the best Christmas light installer out there, but if nobody knows it and you don't know how to charge, you will be the brokest best Christmas light installer and you'll be out of business, because that's how that works. It's not about being the bestest Christmas light installer and not charging the best, right? If you're going to be the best, you got to charge the best. And so that all comes with the territory of running your Christmas light business. So with that said, you can hit $100,000. You have to believe in yourself. You have to vision yourself hitting $100,000. You have to go after it like it's your last $100,000, because to do Christmas lights, it's not easy. You know, when I talk about Daniel, and he didn't work from 8 to 4 and quit. He was up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning every night for 8 to 10 weeks of getting to where he's at. And so that is why you have to be able to grow your business to be able to get what you need done. So with that, That's what I've got to say on that. So I will answer your all's questions. If you've got any questions on Christmas nights, if you got any questions, I'm on my pressure washing channel. If you got any pressure washing channels, I'll even ask yours. If you got any marketing stuff, hit me. I want to hear it. So what what is your goal for 2024? That's what my question is for you. What is your goal for 2024? Oh, excuse me. Never done Christmas lights, but here very profitable if you don't do it correctly. Quite a few retired people down here in the Gulf Shores. Best place to find employees and subs. Um, that's a great question, and that's a great question for anybody that's trying to find employees. One thing I will tell you that if you're going to find good employees, you have to go and find and be a good leader. Because if you're not a good leader, you're probably going to blame everything of why that employee sucks. And so, the employees today are not like the employees of when we were growing up. And so, if you're older, you understand what I mean. A lot of these younger people, if it doesn't suit them, they just quit and go on to the next one. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. It's kind of taught to them early on. I hate to say it, and I was one that when I was younger and I was in my 20s and I got through college, I was at my job working on heavy equipment. I'd been there for 3 or 4 years through college, and I was making $12 an hour. And I'm like, I was making $10 an hour. When I finished college, they gave me a $2 raise, and I got $12 an hour. Well, I was like, this is stupid. So I went found another job, and I got like up to $17 an hour. And then from there, I got another job, and I jumped every 6 months for almost 2 years straight. I jumped to a different job. Whether I got more money or I got a better place of doing it. And I was still mechanicking. And by the time that 2 years span was done, I was up to $27, $28 an hour in the early 2000s because I was jumping, right? Because nobody wanted to pay me what I could get somewhere else. And so I did this in the 2000s. It's the same way now. My daughter plays soccer, and we've learned that if you want to move up, you got to jump clubs. It's just the way it is. Most of these yahoos will pull people that suck from other clubs because they think they're better, and they're not, because they're on a lower level or whatnot, and that's what you're dealing with. And so we're teaching them at this age that if you're loyal to the company, you get screwed, because next week they're going to hire somebody in that's making more than you, if not a couple dollars more than you are, and you've been there for 3 or 4 years, because we're too dumb as leaders and employees to, hey, we need to move these people up and bring them in, because the reason why they don't want to bring them in lower is because they know they won't come in. But yet you're pooping on your employees here. And so when that good employee leaves because you didn't pay them what you should have been paying them, that's what happens with you, and that's how sometimes that works. So I see people with the remote downstream setup. I just switched with the J-Rod. Is the twist and other fancy guns worth the investment? In a remote, it saves time and quality. I like to keep it simple. I do like the M5 twist. I know a lot of people like the M5 twist. It depends on what size pressure washer you got. Then you need a downstreamer. Mr. Clean It. Does anybody ever set up a payment plan for the month heading up to the hanging season? Absolutely. But the best time to do this is in January, because then you can make 10 easy payments and right up to there. So if it's a $2,000 job, they can pay you 10 times $200, hit your $2,000. And then when you show up, they can add more, and they'll usually even add more to it. So that's the beauty of doing it. So you can do a payment plan, but you're already in May. So the end of May. So you're June, July, August, September, October. So you can cut it into a 5-month payment plan. So that is definitely something that you could do, Edwin. Does anyone have any knowledge removing oxidation from commercial light signs? Yeah, you got to be careful on it. Yard signs work. The phone will ring. Rather, sometimes it will ring because they're telling you to take them down. Sometimes it's because um, Karen is telling you to take them down, and sometimes it's because they want to put up lights on their house. As a rookie installer, how long would a house like the one in the green screen take? So this one, if it's your first year, this is probably going to take you 4 to 5 hours. If it's an experienced crew, it's probably going to take about 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you got two people on this one, you could probably get this done in about an hour and a half. If it's your first time doing it, it's probably, especially with all these peaks, that's going to blow your mind. And so that's probably about a 4 to 5 hour job for you. I mean, it is what it is. Good evening, everyone. How's Artie doing? I haven't put out any permanent Christmas light signs since December. I have. Is it too early for permanent Christmas light? I don't think so. I'm going to start putting them out. I sold my first permanent Christmas light job last week. So I sold one. Sell the why. Their why, not just the bulb. Yep, 100%. It and walking on the roof. Yeah, that kind of sucks sometimes. Do you recommend a separate DBA for Christmas lights away from your LLC, pressure washing with a separate website and Google My Business listing? I do, but a DBA a lot of times ain't good enough. Sometimes you got to start a whole nother LLC with its own address, its own bank account, its own everything. Because that's been a hack that you could do a DBA, and Google has been letting you get away with it. But if you try to do it now, Google's probably going to suspend it, and it's probably not going to go through. You have to show it that, hey, we are a legit business. Hey, here is the business name. Here is the business website. Here is the business checking account. Here is the LLC for the business. So you kind of got to set it up all on its own business. You can try to set it up as a DBA, but the likelihood of your Google My Business listing going through is very slim. It's one of those things that Google has been cracking down on this pretty hard. And so that's the problem with where we are with the Google My Business side of things. It's time for Christmas in July. Yep. When should I reach out to service our previous clients for installs, and how much less should we charge now that we have the lights? Also, should we ask for a deposit? Yes, we should. I'm not going to cut off much because we offer a red carpet service. It's not about that we already have the lights. That's where we get into a bad thinking. And so, sometimes I will give them a 10% off if they give their deposits in July, because a lot of times my cash flow was short because I was doing a lot of commercial work for pressure washing and I needed money to come in. And so that's a way that I could start coming in and get my cash flow going again. And so, but that was the only time I would give them that 10% discount of if they were going to show back up. What profit margin would you shoot for year one with the overhead and lights? Usually it's about a third, and a third. In generally speaking, usually you're about a third of the cost of the lights and a third of the cost of your marketing. A third of it is labor and a third of it is the other side. 2024 goal: hire more folks and master the art of delegation, resulting in massive year-in-year growth of 2023 to 2024. Well, James, I hope you have a better time than last year hiring. Last year, I think there was one time James said that they they had like 5 or 6 people supposed to show up, and none of them showed up for the interview. Hopefully, people are getting hungry and they need money. Last year, I started late into the season because the ideal also came late. But I just got 3 jobs within a week. Any advice for a good month to prepare market? I would say start calling people, start open the phone up and start calling car dealerships, start calling hotels, start calling mom and pop places, dental places, doctor offices. Start calling people and see if they need Christmas lights. Otis the Great. Hey Jason, I just purchased a P40. What size hose do you recommend and how long? I recommend the 5/8 hose. 200 feet is what I would recommend. The half inch, you're going to get quite a bit of friction loss and you're going to lose a lot of distance by doing a 5/8 or a half inch versus 5/8 hose. Also, I do electrical as my main job. Yeah, I agree on that. But Christmas lights are pretty easy. My brother's an electrician and he struggled harder on it to try to figure it out than me not knowing as much electricity. So it they can definitely help you out because if you're a journeyman electrician, if you do need to do anything to the house, you can. But very rarely that you do that. Preach. Find employees, be a good leader, pay them well, treat them well, still want to know how to find them. So you're going to do things like Craigslist. You can do things like Facebook. You can do Indeed.com. You can do, what's some other ones? LinkedIn's probably not going to help you for this. But Indeed, there's a couple of them that'll put them out on everything, the one on Google and stuff. So those are ways that you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to put money behind it. You're going to have to put $20 a day or $30 a day trying to find these employees. If you go to a restaurant and you see someone that's a great server, take your business card and say, "Hey, if you ever think about working for another company, let me know. Here it is." Or you go to the hardware store, the Lowe's, and you see a great worker and he's working his butt off. Hey, if you ever want another job, let me know. You go to Chick-fil-A, they all work their butts off. Now, you're probably not going to get none of them because nobody wants to leave there, but that's another way you can do it. Do you put your cell number on the yard signs or get a separate phone number and number? If a separate number, do you forward calls to your cell? I'm guessing I'm asking the carrying around two phones. Yes, so that's a great point. I would carry a different phone number. So if you join christmaslights.io and you can get a free website, you can also get a phone number through the website. And what I've been doing for people to help cut down on spam calls is I've make a way that I can either separate it and send it to different phones. So I can put like sales, press one, and it'll take you to this person. If you need billing questions, press 2 for this. If you're a previous customer, press 3. So one, this cuts down on your spam calls because spam calls usually are just an automated dialer and they're not pressing 1. So that's one thing that you can do. And the other thing too is the reason why you don't want to do your cell phone is as you grow and get bigger, you may need to put somebody on there. So like my system, I can just put whoever you want in there and then it'll ring that other person. So that's how you can do that. Mr. Jamie from the hood, how are you doing, sir? Marius I believe you're from Arizona. I've been selling permanent lights since March. How's that been going for you? We ended up with an awesome crew, but the hiring phase itself was tough last year. We actually have 2 to 3 rock stars from last year that will give us a head start. And honestly, when you got 2 or 3 people that know what they're doing this year, it's definitely a lot better. You'll be able to rock through some stuff. Google can make it difficult with the DBA. I don't want a third LLC. Anything worth is tough. Oh. Hey Jason, I joined King of Pressure Wash. Do you help with a website for that paid training? I do. If you join King of Pressure Wash or the christmaslights.io, there is a way that you can get a free website as long as you're a member. You go to the website page. I think she actually fixed the link. The link wasn't working the other day, but my assistant fixed that link so that way it will tell us that we'll set you up a website and get you working for everything with that. So again, if you didn't know, christmaslights.io/group. I have a Christmas light group. There's about 16,000 and 16,500 people in the group. I'm actually giving away a pitch hopper this week. It'd probably be hard to win it this week. You got to whoever has the most likes, comments, everything in it will win a pitch hopper. Next month, I'm actually giving moneybushes.com is giving away 100 yard signs that's worth about $400 because it's the two different color ones. So if you aren't a member of christmaslights.io/group, the Facebook group, I would highly recommend you join it. Again, I don't know what next month's challenge is going to be. I'm probably going to try to do a challenge that will actually help you grow your business too. And so I'm thinking the challenge of it is whoever posts on their business page and post it in the group of the pressure washing page, so that way we can track it. And if every time they post pictures and stuff, I'll probably have to go see who wins. But that's kind of my goal, because I know that also helps you grow your business. It helps me grow my business, and it helps you grow your business. So that's the whole point of this, is I want to help you grow your business. Because when you grow your business, then you can do all kinds of things. During busy season installing roofs, stop and speak with the workers and ask if they would be interested in installing Christmas lights during their non-peak busy season. Yep. Make friends with lawn care guys that don't do lights. Most will be done fall cleanups and getting laid off just in time to do lights. Roofers is another thing, because a lot of times your roofers aren't there either. And if you can't find it, text me at I don't know if I got that number either. It's 859-696-1101. You can text me there and I will get you hooked up on it. I don't know what I do with that other phone number. I think it's supposed to be right there where it says phone, but I don't have it on here. I don't know what I do with it. Text. Let's see. Nope, I'm not finding it. Moneybushes.com. We love Money Bushes. Who all uses Money Bushes in their business? Money Bushes are awesome. Awesome blossom. Here's what happens when you burn a wire. Did you know you can catch a wire on fire if you plug it in wrong? It'll scare the living crap out of you. Because I've seen that happen before. Phone number. That's the phone number. Nope. 8675309. I don't know what I did with that phone number for the other one I was trying to build for you all. But that's what you can do. If you have a problem with that, just send me a message either through there. You can send it. Actually, the best place probably to send it is jason@christmaslights.io. That would be the best place to push it. I paid $400 for 50 yard signs. That's a little expensive. Um, I would go to moneybushes.com. You can get them a little bit cheaper than that. So, um, yeah, that's a little expensive. That's a little expensive. From Vistaprint, that's a little expensive. Where are you at with your goal of hitting 1,000 people to getting $100,000? Boy, you are grinding to keep it up. I don't know. I need to write out a form and let people start filling out the form for me, so I got a better idea. I've got a pretty good idea. I'd say I'm really close to hitting that. Um, I'm getting my kid's mother to get more involved with the business, and it's working. Family owned business. Let's go. That's awesome. That's awesome, because then you also helping them out and getting them out of that they don't think they can or can't do something, right? Because that's where people get in trouble sometimes, is they don't believe that they can or cannot do something. So the phone number, um, I'm gonna, I'm gonna get it for y'all because I want you all to be. Um, let's see. Here's the phone number. So if you want to know when I go live, you can text this number. Um, you can text this number light LITE. And what this will do is it's going to ask you some questions. So when you answer those questions, you will be able to get those questions answered for you. So I'll get it up here for you. Also, if you have any questions, if you want to, you can text me any of your questions on this phone line, and that way you will be able to. I will answer any of your questions for you if I can get it to work right. That's stupid. uh, let's see. Edit text. Close. Sorry about this as I'm trying to fix this for you all. What other questions do you all have? That's the question I got for you. What other questions do you have for your Christmas light business? 619-5483. That actually is light if you spell that out. But if you text light to this here, um, LITE, light, to that number there, it will um, it will it will let you know when I go live next time. So if you want to know when I go live, you can text light to 855 619 5483. Or if you've got any Christmas light questions, you can text that. If you call that number, you're going to get my what I was talking about. Go 1, 2, 3, and if you leave me a voicemail, I will get back to you and answer any questions that you may have. If you get lucky enough on number 2, I might even pick up the phone, maybe. And number 3, if you got any permanent light questions, you can put it there. So, um, I see a lot of Facebook ads from out of market. Target your audience with it like a sniper. The problem with this is Facebook, because a lot of times you set up your ad, you set it up to your target location, you change one thing, and the next thing Google changes or Facebook changes the whole freaking thing, and so a lot of that comes from Facebook of being stupid for whatever reason. How do I be great like you? Um, Comment, post, like everything. Just start talking more. That's how you do it. Somebody will listen to you eventually. Your wife will eventually. Well, maybe probably not. Um, what percent of SH should you use on tennis courts? And that's resurface paint that last year. One thing you don't want to use is a surface cleaner, and two, you want to use about a 6% mix, 5 to 6% mix is what you'll spray down on it, and then you got to rinse it off. Don't put too much soap in it or surfactant because it'll take you forever to get the surfactant off. So I would use pretty much a straight soap or straight SH, probably 5 to 6%. Spray it down, rinse it off. Pressure washing is amazing. It's going to provide more than financial stability. It will create a whole family tree and a tree that never produces a ghetto mindset. New beginnings. You know, and it's hard to get out of that. It's hard to get out of the poor mindset, but you can do it, and that's what's awesome. Be consistent and relentless, even when the ceiling falls in on you. That's right. Um, I finally got most of the drywall down and most of the insulation out of here. That stuff went everywhere, so it was definitely fun watching the ceiling fall down. Said no one. So I was just hoping it didn't fall down on my head. But again, if you want to know and learn and grow your Christmas light business, go to christmaslights.io/a for the advanced class. If you join by June 1st, you will save $500. So there is some amazing speakers that we have. You will learn. I will guarantee you the $1,500 you spend, you will 10x that more. And I would almost give you your money back if you didn't. And if you don't get it, it's because you didn't do what you learned in the class. So if you want to get $15,000, you've got to spend $1,500. That's the way that usually works. You know, any class that I've ever been to, I've always 10x. I've learned one or two things from it that I could 10x at least what I paid for the class. And that's the importance of why it is important that you go and learn, right? Go learn. You might think you know everything about Christmas lights, but I promise you, there is a lot that you can learn. And if when you think you know it all, that's when you start failing because you never know everything. And so that is why you should come to the advanced Christmas light class and learn. So sign up. It's only $1,500. You can get it right now before June 1st. So sign up before it is. We only got 30 spots. Actually, we don't even have 30 spots anymore. So you need to get signed up before your spot is gone. And then you're going to be like, I want to make more money. And I'm going to say, why didn't you come? And you're going to be like, oh, I got excuses. And excuses isn't what helps you grow your business. So you need to go out there and get it done. Yes, sir. Even if it's from someone attending the class with you. You know, David, I actually did a class out in Texas with them. I did it for free. I didn't get paid a dime to go out there, and I helped them guys out a bunch. And David learned a lot. I know David, when he went back to start selling his stuff, he started selling the magic, and he started getting higher prices and higher close percentages because he quit selling the bulb. And that's the importance of why you come to classes, why you learn, and all of those awesome things. Training is a great small investment for a great future. So make sure you sign up. Also, I do have some other training classes. If you want to go check out my other training classes that I've got done. I don't know where any of my stuff why isn't showing up here, but it's not. If you go to christmaslights.io/train, you'll find it there. I've been selling magic ever since, and when you sell the magic, you get a lot more higher tickets, and that is the important part about doing it. So with that said, I hope you all have an amazing week. We're coming into June. You're coming into summer vacations. If you are doing pressure washing, if you didn't know it, this is your slow time. June, July, and August, you will slow down. Unless you've been doing some really good work, you will slow down in June, July, and August. I know a lot of my guys have been having target months. I had one guy in my mentorship hit his first $40,000 month in pressure washing. I had my other guy in my mentorship. He hit his second $100,000 month. Last year he hit 100,000, or last in April he hit $100,000. In May he hit $100,000. And so I've definitely got some guys in my mentorship that are just killing it. They're taking action, making things happen, and that's the whole goal of this, right? If you want to change the way you are, you got to kick butt and make things happen. And if you think that what's gotten you here is going to get you to the next level, it will not get you there. So with that said, go out there, take action, and make things happen. But other than that, I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you all later.